We have a rather important discussion to exercise with this next interview. I'm joined by Rich Stevens. He's from North Manchester. We won't hold that against him, but he's in Australia and he's doing some terrific work with an organisation called Say Australia. Rich Stevens, welcome to The Informer.
Hello.
Tell me about Say Australia. What's it all about?
So and can I say Australia? The Stuttering Association for the Young Australia. We are a non-profit organisation, a health promotion charity that supports young people who stutter to find their voice, to know that their voice deserves to be heard and their voice kind of matters the same as everybody else's.
We're here to make those who stutter, here I am, feel like there's a way forward. There is a way to improve those who stutter. So are there programs?
Yeah, so the programs that we run are free creative arts programs, so they're free. So There's no kind of fees. And the creative arts program is a vehicle that we use as like a support group and for young people who stutter. Because as we know, young people who stutter, when you're growing up with a stutter, you don't really meet anyone else in your life who stutters. So you feel alone, you feel isolated.
Ashamed, huh?
Ashamed.
Bit of stigma.
Yeah, totally. All the guilt. And even if you have supportive friends and family and to turn to, when you don't know another person who has a stutter, you do feel like it's only you in this world. Correct. So what we do is we bring young people who stutter together in a community, in this community of acceptance, support, love, and in a space where they have as much time to say the words that they want to say.
Do we know what causes people to stutter?
So kind of stuttering is a kind of neurodevelopmental disorder. There's lots of research going on now to do with finding the kind of genes, but it's a nature and nurture. I think there's so much kind of research that is going out there. You have to have a predisposition in your genes. But for some people, they have a stutter for probably a few years in their early childhood, and for people like me, because I'm a person who stutters, I have a stutter for the rest of my life. So it is a neurodevelopmental disorder, which can be helped with lots of forms of therapy. But because kind of stuttering is so individualised, I think it's great when you have options for people. So there are kind of fluency techniques, and there's a level of support which I think a lot of work is starting to be done now about the psychosocial aspects of stuttering. Because when you work with people who stutter, what you see is the blocks, the repetitions, and the prolongations. But what you don't see is inside. Yeah. Like as you said before, the fear and the guilt and the shame. So it's
and they shouldn't feel any of those things,
no,
but they do, because society is a bit like that. We tend to look at anyone and everyone who's slightly different, not quite the same colour as us, not from our tribe. We seem predisposed to find something about them that is different. And then from that. Now, I was a stutterer when I was younger, and I've always thought that it was about me having a struggle between whether I wanted to speak Greek or English, and the gearing had to be reconfigured before I could settle down and, of all things, become a news broadcaster or a radio person. There are times when, under stress, I feel I'm losing it, but I have enough discipline to be able to pull it back and slow it down. And when I do, then I give my mouth a chance to form the words that need to be formed, and out comes the expression. Doesn't always make sense, but I'm a little bit better than I once was. So I understand. When I heard that you were coming in and we were going to talk about stuttering, and that I realised that you do stutter, how much better have you made yourself over the years with some of this creative art therapy?
So I think a lot of the work that I've done on me as a person who stutters is accepting it more,
not fighting yourself.
Yeah, not kind of fighting, not trying to, not having that fight to try and be fluent all the time. And when I was a young person, when I was a young adult, I was covert. I was trying to hide it at all times. I could be a secret agent. You know, I could change words. I could hide it. But then the easiest way to not be found out as a person who stutters is to be silent, and that's what happens to a lot of our young people and kids.
And that's why we're trying to give them a voice back, huh?
So and as well, I became a lot more confident when I knew there was other people in the world who stutter, and to have that sense of community now, from not knowing anyone who stutters, now I know thousands of people all over the world.
I reckon people stutter when they have to cross the dance floor and ask their partner, potential partner, for a dance. Can you imagine now, if you are a stutterer, trying to get the first words out, how much more pressure they'd be under, huh? Yeah. And starting any conversation, especially in those days, in those early days, when you are struggling, it can be really challenging. But you're here to say Australia, that we can help, we can assist with these classes. And you've got volunteers coming in to help?
Yeah, we've got plenty of volunteers, adults who stutter as well. So we've got people who don't stutter, we call them allies.
Yeah. Should I come in as an ally and say to them, you can get better, if only you believe?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you believe in acceptance, if you believe in the sense of a community. And I think it's important to know what we're saying about in terms of kind of getting better. Because if people are concentrating on fluency, we are not a replacement for any fluency therapy, but we are an adjunct. We are a place where people can come and meet other people who stutter. And our young people can speak however way they want. If they want to use any techniques, and that's fine. All we say is, like, you come how you are. You know, you come how you are and you speak how you are, and you meet other people who stutter. And we've got these cool creative arts programs that kind of gives them an outlet for their voice, be that kind of writing their plays, be that creating pieces of art, poetry, dance.
It's great therapy.
Anything, yeah.
It's great therapy. Okay, say I'm a stutterer and I want to reach out to Say Australia. How do I go about it?
So there's a few ways to kind of reach out. We have a website, which will...
Say Australia?
Yeah, kind of Say Australia and .org and .au. We have Instagram and Facebook, which I've just learnt the terminology is kind of handles. So the Say Australia, those handles, you can reach me on my email address, which will be rich@sayaustralia.org.au. And those are the main avenues to approach us. And if you want to learn more, obviously on our website. If you read things on our website and you're not clear, just contact me. All our details are on the website. I'm happy to explain more. I'm happy to just have a chat.
Fantastic. Listen, having a chat is also enormous therapy, because ultimately when we engage, all the other things tend to fall away, and the real voice comes out. So, Rich, Stephen, thank you very much for joining us. We wish all your challenges and all your programs have a productive 2020 and beyond. And I was wondering if we have any more questions about Say Australia, whether you'd come back and again assist us and answer some of the questions.
Of course, I always come back. Cheers, thank you.